Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ducky Wucky, and I've been reviewing all the newest episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia Season 17 as they've been coming out, and now we are finally at the season finale. This episode starts with a very interesting cold open because not only is it the shortest I think the show has ever had, but it's also Frank being mostly serious and reminiscing on the fact that he's had a good life, he's had friends, he's had family, but he wants to find love again. And while he's monologuing about this and looking at himself in the mirror in this really cool cinematic shot, we can see framed pictures of Dynasty and Barbara of all people. And I just have to say, where's Roxy? He was literally gonna marry her. You know, this cold open is really short. He literally says like 2 sentences and then we cut to the Golden Bachelor title sequence. And I think that for a season finale, it's definitely warranted to break from the regular title format. And I also think that it's clever that they're using the Golden Bachelor style of credits to do their own credits. I thought that was very clever. I would love to see the meetings they had with the creators of The Bachelor in order to get this license. That must have been a lot of fun. But of course, this episode's trying to genuinely give us the feeling of watching this real life Golden Bachelor episode. But of course, this would not be diegetic in the show, so there is some suspension of disbelief that needs to be done with the TV format. But anyway, I really like that this episode is over 30 minutes because otherwise I would have been a little frustrated with how much time we spend with Jesse Palmer. I don't like watching shows like The Bachelor. Still, Jesse Palmer honestly fit in so much better than I expected. He did a great job, especially playing off of Frank. Excellent job, dude. I'm also glad that Jesse Palmer acknowledges how weird Frank is and how, as I suspected, they had no idea. But I think what's even better is there's a little surprise in there of oh, they actually think he's charming and cool. I think that's infinitely funnier than them not knowing till the end or being you're weird. I think it's really funny that the Bachelor team, because of how insane Frank was behaving, debated ending not just the season, but the entire Bachelor franchise, The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, The Golden Bachelor, everything, just because of how badly Frank was cooperating with them. And then I also think that it's funny and a subversion of expectations in and of itself that the audience would then come to eventually like Frank. But I think anyone who's surprised about that should take into account that you probably like Frank too. Not as a person, but to watch. And it's interesting that they're doing this to Frank's character at the very end of the season. I think that making him so depraved previously, again, making Dennis and Dee do terrible things to animals at the dog track, and faking a heartwarming childhood drawing to make Dee cry, just to be haha, you cried about a cake. He's been a monster this season. And then also snub the waitress of that Cybertruck. That was an underrated thing that he did. That was really not cool. So I don't think this episode is subverting our expectations by giving Frank redemption. We see some legitimate character development. I think that's the most shocking part, but we will get into that later. The whole intro with Jesse Palmer and the audience is honestly really wholesome, but then also very smartly ends with Frank saying a very in character, very gross thing. And this shows to me how perfectly Frank is his least and most likable in this episode. He's the biggest pig he's been all season, but he's weirdly so endearing because you can tell he's trying to find love again, which again, I saw that. I'm has he found love the first time? Also, the scene where the Golden Bachelorettes are coming out of all of their fancy cars and Frank is just immediately horrified by the fact that they are either 10 or 20 years younger than he is, so old in his eyes, and immediately rejecting them. Classic potential. And Danny DeVito was absolutely eating this up. And I just have to say, after that whole sequence, and Frank makes a reference to the Hawk Tua girl, I was guys, it's over. I was it's been a good run. Why are we doing this? And I certainly did not expect that to become a whole thing and for her to show up multiple times in the episode, but I wasn't that mad about it. Let's call her Chewy, not to be crass, also because I think that's extremely funny. It's very much in line with a Sunnyside character in general. If anything, she is a combination of Charlie's sisters and Gail the Snail. After we're introduced to Chewy and we meet sort of her exact opposite, Sam, I already knew that she was going to be different because she actually managed to make a stand against Frank's obviously terrible behavior. Not that I blame the other women for just walking away and not saying anything. I would have too. I would have gone and cried. This woman is obviously pretty calloused from what she's been through in her life because we later learned that her husband died. I also love the very classic Frank shenanigans we have going on here with him ordering Amazon Prime to the Bachelor house in order to try to shill for Amazon to get the money. It is an extremely funny bit. But yeah, moving on, I really freaking like Sam. Although not being depraved like Frank, she is weird. She's a weird lady, but she carries herself with confidence and doesn't feel the need to explain herself or cower to Frank, which I would if I met Frank. Frank scares me. They also just talk to each other and get to know each other like mature adults, and it's really sweet because even with his wife, even with Roxy, who he claimed to love, he didn't do a lot of talking. So you can already tell Sam is different. I also am really happy that the Bachelor crowd ended up finding out that Frank did hire actors to play the gang. I think that's infinitely funnier than if they didn't. And I think that's great because not only was that a very funny joke last season, but we get a callback and we still get to see the gang this episode. I was really scared we weren't going to get to see them, and I wish we could have gotten more of them. Also, seeing the gang on camera after this previous episode made their tension so palpable. You can see how anxious they are because of the numerous rehearsal dinners they had. Everyone looks terrified, but then Charlie cannot even hold himself together. He is beside himself with grief and jealousy and anger. He's really fun to watch because you just don't know when he's gonna flip. This is like some of the worst torment we've seen Charlie go through. I also think it's really funny that the Speak of the Devil bit came back from last episode. Also, Dennis and Dee are threatening Sam about money. What money could they possibly be talking about? Their inheritance? Do they genuinely think they're getting an inheritance from Frank? Because they're not. But I also think their bit of being like unabashedly threatening on camera, if anything playing it up just so Disney would never think of airing it, is genuinely very clever and very funny. But that also makes me question the diegetic place of this scene within the episode of The Golden Bachelor itself. Are these deleted scenes that are being seen? Did this end up airing? I also think that it was an absolute stroke of genius to get Dennis and Dee to be the ones who would invite Charlie's mom onto the show. And Charlie finding out during the dinner scene and having an epic meltdown is so earned because these last 3 episodes he has been absolutely falling apart without Frank. Now he is being replaced again by a new wife, and in walks his mother, who he already has trauma about being a literal throughout his entire childhood. What is he supposed to do? I'd be super mad too. I already see people posting about this scene. Super funny the way that Charlie acted out. But also the scene after when Sam confesses her feelings for Frank is genuinely so sweet. Like, there's a lot probably she doesn't even like about him, but she just loves how himself he is. And she wishes to be that same way because her entire life, she's always assumed that she literally had to go by Sam instead of Samantha because she thought no one would possibly care about her enough to say her whole name. That makes it even worse when he slides a letter under her door with Sam written on the top saying Dunzo, just dumping her right away, right after she shared her very personal feelings. I was worried that would be it, because that would be very classic It's Always Sunny, but it's getting old. It's like a Marvel movie. When every scene is undercut by a quip, something of significance is happening, there's gonna be a joke later. Also, the elephant toothpaste bit was kind of stupid because they didn't show us, and I think it was kind of just an excuse to get the gang to look silly, missing hair and having paint all over them. And nice to see Nair again. Is that a sponsorship? There's a lot of Nair mentions here. Of course, Charlie would do it. He probably used the exact same Nair that he used last episode. What I think was the most interesting part about this scheme is that Charlie put Nair in the elephant toothpaste in order to make the women less beautiful to Frank, so that he would come home. He's going through a lot. Max logic that elephant toothpaste would show whether they were cool or not, like if they were okay with it, is kind of like weird logic. And it feels like they're trying to find stuff for the gang to do. During the rose giving scene, I was terrified that Frank was going to choose Bonnie or Chewie or someone even worse. And when it cut to that final scene, I was so happy. And Frank started chasing down Sam and calling for her as she was getting onto a public bus. The fact that she only answered to her full name, it was just beautiful. Caitlin Olsen described one of the episodes of this new season as very emotional, and I have to think that this one is it for various reasons. I just gotta say that it's beautiful that Frank is recognizing and loving a woman for who she is. Like, this scene was gorgeous. We have to remember that before all of this, Danny DeVito was a prestige actor, and his acting in the scene is absolutely beautiful. He is hanging on her every word, and so are we, because It's Always Sunny. So we're like, oh, maybe she's gonna reject Frank. Maybe something funny is gonna happen. But no, he proposes and she says yes, and they kiss. And even the kiss isn't funny. It's just a sweet, beautiful moment. And then it cuts to black. It was a gorgeous ending that was given the time and the love that it needed, and then was immediately preceded by a beautiful tribute to Lynn Marie Stewart, who played Charlie's mom, who passed away this year. The tribute was very beautiful. The text on the screen was very sweet and endearing and simple. And in all seriousness, we should pray for her and her family. And with that said, wow, this season was amazing. Why was this season so amazing? What happened? And I thought season 16 was a return to form. This is 10 times better. Why are they just whipping out this classic season 20 years later? This season was the strongest since season 13 at least. And this is my final ranking. Number 1, Dennis and Mac become EMTs. Number 2, Frank's Nakoma. Number 3, The Golden Bachelor Live. Number 4, the gang gets ready for primetime. Number 5, thought leadership, a corporate conversation. Number 6, the gang goes to the dog track. Number 7, overage drinking, a national concern. And number 8, the gang F's up Abbott Elementary. Thank you so much for sticking with me these last couple weeks. This has been so much fun, and I'm not stopping making It's Always Sunny videos here. I'm going to continue uploading on Thursdays or Fridays, depending how I'm doing. Next week, I will be coming out with a video analyzing the symbolism of The Nightman Cometh, and then I will be doing a full season 16 retrospective. Thank you so much to my incredible members, and if you join my channel members for just 99 cents a month, you will get a shout out at the end of all of my videos. Shout out to Andrew Fiore, my amazing boyfriend. Thank you for supporting me. Have a sunny day, and may God bless you. Mwah.